Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Anyway, this is the mantra to summon the Hindu deity Ganesha, the beloved elephant-headed trickster known as the remover of obstacles and master of knowledge. This mantra, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, translates to salutations to Ganesha, the remover breaker of obstacles. We call your name. So call on Ganesha to clear your path when you feel stuck or creatively blocked, when you need to change your perspective, or when life feels especially challenging and you're not sure why. Anyway, I'm gonna do some writing. I really do enjoy these mantras, especially at work. So I'm gonna be continuing the last thing with the virtue because they're gonna be 12 apostles or 11. I think 11. They're gonna be 11 stories that I'm trying to publish on my blog. And my goal is, my hope for this is that when they all come together, they will make sense. They do make sense one by one, but I want them to make the most awesome sense of all when I'll be putting them on. Now, yesterday I just watched the Virgin Galactic launch. I didn't write anything. I had what did I have? Oh yeah, I had an anniversary in the morning, the launch in the evening, a little sleep to make sure that I have enough energy to watch the game, which again I told you Italy would win, so congratulations Italy, but I already knew that. Not I knew that, but I made it as part of my life as it was happening. And I'll be going further deep into that, try to understand how to actually live in the circumstances that are good for you. Not good, but the circumstances that you like or that you would like to live in. There's still a lot of researching to do. It's a lot of spiritual boohoo things that need to be uncluttered from delusion to actually living in reality, because it can easily get into the delusional fact like I have the power to change all this and make it so to this team to win or this thing to go this way, or the reality of the thing, which is, yeah, I can like I'm living in this universe. Why wouldn't I live in this universe where Italy won or this team won, and I reap any benefits that come from it and enjoy the moments as they are happening. So it's truly a difficult thing to do, to put a veil, actually to put a limit between dissolution and actually reality. It's quite hard, but with time maybe I'd get better at it. I did smoke today, which I'm not very proud of, but as I did this thing, this stupid thing. I didn't do this stupid thing. I eliminated all the cigarettes from around me. Like I'm only asking if I need for something else, like, you know, smoking some weed. But no, I'm not asking cigarettes to smoke cigarettes. I'm not buying cigarettes or anything like that. Well, at least that's what I thought. Till today, when I found a cigarette in my backpack as I went to work, and of course, I was so easily duped into, yeah, why not? I did this to myself. Why not just smoke it? So yeah, not feeling very good about that, but it is a learning curve, as there will always be situations when I would have cigarettes around me for one reason or the other, and I need to really acknowledge that thing without needing to ban everything, you know, like that self-discipline, I think it is. Anyway, shall we get into writing? I'm not feeling very hot still. I still have my hand. I don't know if you can see. Yep. And the fingers are still swollen. But I think a few more days and it's gonna be all good. I just hope they're not broken. Do they look broken? Anyway, I know pain is a symptom, but pain is a symptom of everything, and you're always in some kind of pain, right? You just have 1 or 2 weeks, maybe 1 month, I think, if you're really, really rich, of no pain at all. But yeah, this is a pain that I know it will pass, because that's that's what getting yourself hurt is like, a pain that passes. So, with that being said, I'm gonna continue on this. If you remember correctly, is... Shall I? Yeah, I will do the thing I do usually when I'm showing, actually. Not display capture. Let me just do a different thing, because that will just display my screen. Window capture. Yeah, window capture. And I'm gonna show you what I'm writing while I'm writing it. It feels much better for me. I'm not doing sprints. Actually, I'm gonna change that thing there. So let me just live stream. Firestorm. Do I have Firestorm? What? Oh, yeah, Firestorm. I should close this. Anyway, Virtue should be good. Let me just minimize things. Duck, so we can have it set up perfectly. We continue where we left off. I don't know. I'll be talking today still about Islam, which is curious because I'm reading a book about Islam. Not about Islam, it's a French girl that's been... also let me just check real quick the chat, if it works. I know it's just me, but I do like to know if someone's watching. You can say hello. I will say hello right now. I've actually written it wrong, but it's there. That's good. Just in case I'm not. Okay. Up. Yeah, I think that's all right. Just in case I'm not alone and someone writes, I should want to actually see what you write, right? So I can answer. Anyway, where were we? Because we have to dwell this on more. I took, oh yeah, I was talking about that book I was reading. It was some kind of YouTuber, Snapchatter in France that gets death threats and everything just because she spoke ill of Islam and because she's a lesbian and everything like that. I still haven't got very far into it because it's in French. And let's be honest, you don't understand French. I don't understand. Ah, oh la 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 la. I made a big mistake. I have this, the tiger thing. This that helps with I guess everything. This could cure your hand and give you a new hand. But I put it on. Put it where I should put a different cream, and now it's burning my hand. Actually, it's burning here. I look like Jesus now, actually, as I'm speaking about gods and everything. It's a good segue. It's a good. It's a good. What do you call that? What do you call that thing? Oh my God! Coincidence. Yeah. Where is Thomas so I can show him my hands? Or what's Thomas? It's in English. Anyway, let me just get closer, get the straightened up position, drink some water, because I've been gonna write for a while. Not a lot. Oh, I wanted to also change sprint on. It's not a sprint, it's actually up, 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 up. Okay, it's here. I know sometimes what should we call it? It's not sprint on, it's just walking with God. Okay, I think this. Oh, I need to make it smaller. That's not what she said. It's a little smaller. Okay, this one also. All right, I guess these are good. So we're gonna walk with God once again. Do you know the walking with God thing? Let me just put one from my favorite person that helped me a lot to understand. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll put this on. Maybe you'll learn how to walk with God also. And what it means to walk with God. It's Jordan Peterson, in case you didn't know the person I was talking about. Anyway, let's listen to that and I will write later. You know who he is, right? By this time, you have to know who this is. He has the famous 12 rules for life and then another additional 12 rules. But he delved into actually the horrors of the human nature and how just ignoring some parts will get you to the darkest parts ever, where you try to deny they exist if you ignore them long enough. Oh, forgot to do this. All right, let's start again.
Said at the beginning of the lecture series that the Bible is a hyperlinked text and everything refers to everything else. And so there's utility in reading it in linear order, but it's not a linear document. It's a document that you can move through in an infinite number of, there's an infinite number of pathways that you can use to walk through it. And all of the document expands upon and refers to all of the rest of the document. And so I'm going to switch to the Sermon on the Mount, which I think is probably the key document in the New Testament. And I'm going to switch to it because I think it's the closest thing we have to a fully articulated description of what it would mean to walk with God so that you're in the ark when the flood comes. It's the most fully articulated realization of that idea that leaps out of the metaphorical. Because if I say, well, you should conduct yourself like Noah and walk with God and build an ark, obviously those are poetic and metaphorical suggestions, and it's not that easy to bring them into practice, right? It's the distance. There's a big distance between you and the archetype. It isn't obvious how to manifest it in your own life. And what has to happen is the archetype has to be differentiated and articulated so that it becomes sufficiently practical and personal so that you can actually implement it. So I'm going to take apart some of the Sermon on the Mount. It starts in Matthew 5, and I'm not going to talk about Matthew 5.
All right, so one day I wish I could use this word and perfectly articulate, not perfectly, but articulate my thoughts as close as I can to reality or to what I even want to say, and that's why I do enjoy how Jordan Peterson explains things, and how if you understand the thoughts of the different things he's talking about, you can get to actually you can hyperlink these things to get into a state of mind that you understand reality better, or at least that part of reality.
I'm going to talk about the end of Matthew 6 and most of Matthew 7. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal...
Wait, let me close my window because I forgot. My window open and everyone can hear me just blabbering at 11 at night. All right.
All shall we be clothed. Those are famous. Ye
Wait,
of little
what I
faith.
missed?
Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? Those are famous lines, and that's sort of Christ the hippie, right? It's like, hey, let it all hang out. That's an old phrase. Do your thing, and everything will come to you. And these lines have been interpreted in that manner many times, but that's seriously not the proper interpretation, because there's a kicker with this injunction, and the kicker is this: for your heavenly Father knows that you have need of all these things, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. That's a lot different than the hippie thing, right? Because there's a very, very, very interesting idea here. It's certainly
Because you have to do some things, but actually while searching for the kingdom of God, or at least I guess you still have to be directed in God's direction. And this is not a Christian thing like God of the Bible, but whatever you understand by God. At least that's my opinion. Let's see what his opinion
it's a
says.
lot different than the hippie thing, right? Because there's a very, very, very interesting idea here. It's certainly one of the most profound ideas that I've ever encountered. And the idea is this, is that if you configure your life so that what you are genuinely doing is aiming at the highest possible good, then the things that you need to survive and to thrive on a day-to-day basis will deliver themselves to you. That's a hypothesis, and it's not some simple hypothesis, right? Because what it basically says is, if you dare to do the most difficult thing that you can conceptualize, your life will work out better than it will if you do anything else. Well, how are you going to find out if that's true? Well, it's a Kierkegaardian leap of faith. There's no way you're going to find out whether or not that's true unless you do it. So
I was wrong. I described it quite wrong. It still means the same thing, but I described it just so poorly. It's bad.
No one can tell you either, just because it works for someone else. I mean, that's interesting and all that, but it's no proof that it'll work for you. You have to be all in this game. And so the idea is, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. It's like, that's actually a fairly important caution when you're talking about not having to pay attention to what you're going to eat or what you're going to wear. It's like, what it's essentially saying is that those problems are trivial in comparison. And the probability is that if you manifest yourself properly in the world, that those things will come your way is extraordinarily high. And I believe that that's exactly right. I mean, I've watched people operate in the world, and I would say that there is no more effective way of operating in the world than to conceptualize the highest good that you can and then strive to attain it. There's no more practical pathway to the kind of success that you could have if you actually knew what success was. And so that's what this sermon is attempting to posit. It's like in the story of Pinocchio. You know, what happens at the beginning of the story of Pinocchio is that Geppetto wishes on a star. We talked about that.
Right, 4 more minutes left. And yeah, let me talk about this, because usually you think that if you, I think, some people think, I don't know, that you cannot actually just let yourself just do whatever. Like, that's not a goal, that's not a purpose, that's not a way of living, actually. Just doing whatever you want to do, like reacting to any impulse you receive and just going with the flow. It's quite different. It's not going with the flow, it's just going with impulses. There is a difference between going with the flow of what you're doing and the direction they're going, or going with the impulses, which is, as I find it out with the cigarettes, you don't just, like, I started, I told you I found a cigarette today in my backpack, and I just went with the flow, or did I went with an impulse that was in? I could have spent all the rest of my break to just reading, which would have helped me a lot to improve my vocational skills in French, or at least to learn something new. Or I could have, or what I did was listen to my impulse and lived in the moment, even though I knew, and you know, a lot of times that you're not actually living in the moment for living, you're just living by impulses. So, yeah.
That a little bit. And so what Geppetto does is align himself with the metaphorical manifestation of the highest good he can conceptualize and say, he says, he makes a commitment, let's say. He aims at the star, and for him the star is the possibility that he can take his creation, a puppet, right, whose strings are being pulled by unseen forces, and have it transform into something that's autonomous and real. Well, that's a hell of an ambition. You know, and we're wise enough to put that in a children's movie, but too foolish to understand what it means. It's such an interesting juxtaposition that we can both know that and not know it at the same time. You can go to the movie, you can watch it, and it makes sense, but that doesn't mean that you can go home and think, well, I know what that meant. Well, people are complicated, right? We exist at different levels, and all the levels don't communicate with one another. But the movie is a hypothesis, and the hypothesis is there's no better pathway to self-realization and the ennoblement of being than to posit the highest good that you can conceive of and commit yourself to it. And then you might also ask yourself, and this is definitely worth asking, is do you really have anything better to do? And if you don't, well, why would you do anything else? Therefore, take no thought for the morrow shall...
I don't have anything better to do today than just write, or at least try to get some ideas on this thing.
Take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. I spent a long time trying to figure out what that meant too, because it's another one of those lines that can easily be read as pro-grasshopper and anti-ant. You know, you remember the old fable of the grasshopper and the ant? Maybe not. I'm not going to tell it, but the ant works and the grasshopper fiddles, and the ant has a pretty good time in the winter and the grasshopper dies. And so this is like a pro-grasshopper line, but it's not, because it says something else. It says that if you orient yourself properly and then pay attention to what you do every day, that works. And I actually think that that's in accordance with what we have come to understand about human perception, because what happens is that the world shifts itself around your aim. Because you're a creature that has an aim. You have to have an aim in order to do something. You're an aiming creature. You look at a point and you move towards it. It's built right into you. And so you have an aim. Well, let's say your aim is the highest possible aim. Well, then, so that sets up the world around you. It organizes all of your perceptions. It organizes what you see and you don't see. It organizes your emotions and your motivations. So you organize yourself around that aim. And then what happens is the day manifests itself as a set of challenges and problems. And if you solve them properly, then you stay on the pathway towards that aim. And you can concentrate on the day. And so that way you get to have your cake and eat it too. Because you can point into the distance, the far distance. And you can live in the day. And it seems to me that that makes every moment of the day supercharged with meaning. That's how, because if everything that you're doing every day is related to the highest possible aim that you can conceptualize, well, that's the very definition of the meaning that would sustain you in your life. Well, and then the issue is, well, back to Noah. Well, all hell's about to break loose and chaos is coming. It's like when that's happening in your life, you might want to be doing something that you regard as truly worthwhile. Because that's what will keep you afloat when everything is flooded. And you don't want to wait until the flood comes to start doing that, because if your ark's half built and you don't know how to captain it, the probability is very high that you'll drown.
Anyway, this was Jordan Peterson about how to walk with God. And yes, I'm trying to align myself as for years already, well, for 1 year, I've been trying to align myself into this direction, not necessarily to write it, but to put these thoughts in the best way I can out, as to just eventually making them into existing things. And yeah, it's been a wake-up call from a while ago. And that's the way I'm going, because no matter how life gets in the way, I'm still getting back at this. I'm still more interested into writing this than anything else at the end of the day. All right. Doctor Saint. Priest. Because I didn't know where this conversation was going. So I was really I really started with one thing in mind, but then I diversed into a different thing, which was still kind of the plan, but I didn't think I would write so much about it. However, eventually I know that I need to actually pinpoint the exact things for them to make sense. And what I expect the most at the end of these 11 or 12 stories is to put up like the link. You know, I'm creating 2 stories, 12 stories, 12 little stories. I don't know if they're 12, but 12 sounds nice, right? Or 13. 12, and the 13th one to be the one that unites them all into understanding what brought this thinking and how did I come, what helped me come to these conclusions. Anyway, such is life. We should start a little the music on. Yeah. Let's get into walking with God. All right. So we were talking about Islam here. Let me just do a quick check. I would like to put on not a doctor. Wrong. Okay, let's I want to give them saint names. So anyone know a Muslim saint name? Wali. Oh, that's nice. We're gonna call him Wali. You know what is Wali? I don't know how it's spelled W-A-L-I in Arabic. It comes from the Arabic. The Arabic word, which has been variously translated to master, authority, custodian, protector, is most commonly used by Muslims to indicate an Islamic saint, otherwise referred to by the more literal friend of God. So yeah, I guess this is some Wally. This is how you write it, but a particular Wally? Do we have a particular Wally? No. What did I do with? Damn it. Okay, Wally. The same. When the Arabic definite article al is added, it refers to one of the names of God in Islam, Allah al-Wali, meaning the helper or friend. Yeah, I don't want to. Actually, no. We're gonna call it Allah. Oh, Wali. What is that? What is that? That's I. Quite interesting, but we're gonna call it the helper. The chapter, at least. It's valid as a teaching because you understand something from understanding that you can't depict a god or something you wish to venerate, but not in the way it is through that market. There. Oh. Possible. Show people is actually an impossible feat. It's true that one cannot describe one of these galaxies without missing something. One of these entities without missing something, a detail that could equal the erasing of a galaxy, of civilization, of truth. But one of these does not have the right to end a life, to end a nature. It's all doing so shows nothing but weakness of spirit, weakness of faith, lack of trust in God. I mean, from the wait. Weakness of faith coming from the fastest growing major religion in the world. Because you know Islam is the fastest growing major religion in the world, because we know some of the reasons why it's doing that. Let's not make a thing out of it. Oop. Oop. Okay. So, where were we? Oh, yeah. It is an indicator spot. Yes. Yes. Or words have changed their meaning as well. It should be taking best and worst if not these images to whose worship should be them. Certainly you have been you and your fathers in manifest error. It's bad, simple, and working. Definition being wrong does not equal God's being wrong, it equals them. Yeah. You can feel the wording in. Okay. I cannot come. Do it, no matter how much they try or claim it, they can't. Like any human, they should have the opportunity to try, but everyone is aware, at least they should be, that nothing will be the true depiction, as no matter what you depict. It will just depict a feature, not the whole program. See your chair, or they see a chair. You'll be able to see the weight of the chair sustained. Of course, then they will see a chair, an object of the chair. So they can Take care. That is the bold meaning behind the picture. So I started when they do the job. So I start getting frustrated that when they do the same experiment. Job. Now why? So, I start getting frustrated. They do the same experiment to show how maybe. Now would people um, share its stories they it's really situation. Theoretically, no. Oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, no. I will use this energy. Damn it. Yeah, but let's do it. So, same experiment. Just meditate, come on. Oh, it's not working at all. There's no one. Lying on the chair. Start. Where? If were considered to be a purchasing we would most certainly see pandemic chairs all around the world. People, groups trying to push into explaining best chair size size and people explain that people creatures groups explain best chair size color of consider lying on a chair as virtuous. Pandemic. Tell me, who gave you the right to worship hate together? What makes you willing to hurt a brother? Things to associating with God, really? With God will bring in your journey. Walk God's power, God's I want to say walking with God's power. It's not power that I want to say, it's something else. Power. Will, I want to say. Power. Okay. Let me think. I just have to get up. Again, I'm English. Okay, so walking with God and walking with actually having a companion with seeing your way is the way to go. But I want to say this when you're associating with God's power, but not with God itself. Oh, come on. Yeah, basically I couldn't hold it anymore. But this is the final point I want to make here. So I go on to the next. We're making world. It's quite a difficult thing I want to say here. It's not even walking, because you're presenting as walking as going on a journey, but if you use its power to actually walk, then it's not walking with God. It's the only reason you are keeping yourself alive. It's kind of sad why probably most of them end up the way they do. Most of the people that find not the journey, but who pushes them in the journey as a way of being. Oh, damn it. Okay. Zero. Four. Mm. No, this still sounds like you're walking with God's power, but He like willingly gave it to you. But this is not when you're walking with you're actually stealing from God's power when you're just trying to use the virtue of that certain thing. I don't know how to put it properly. Stealing from God's. Stealing God. Two. Two. I don't know, get what you want. Oh yeah, what do you call that? Oh, I think I have. Good. Gratify your thoughts. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, damn it. But I think Yes. Bring out a journey. Fortune. I don't know, I think I should let it like this. It's simple if you understand what it is. If you will walk with God, that will bring you God as a companion in your journey. Like you do everything you can, and you know that you should do towards your life to enhance your life, bring this planet and this existence some meaningful memories before dying. How many years to tell? When will the sun expand? A billion years? Oh, we still have 5.5 billion years, guys. Oh, until that point, we still have some good memories to provide our existence with, and I still find it very foolish that the only memories we're creating right now just weird. All right, this will be called the first one. Let's see how many tools do how many word count do we have? 1200. That's good. Now let's go to the other one, which will start the same way. I think. Okay, now it's getting political. Second one. Out. Let's see. Wow. I think this is more about uh, the genders thing that's going on, which is pretty bad because people are getting really confused just by associating with one thing and think they did the virtuous thing, and later when people don't care as much, even like they did it, they don't care as much, and that attention does not come to them anymore. They get really, really depressed because they enjoyed the attention more than what they did with it. Which is that why a lot of people are very vocal about it, even though there's a small minority of real like transgenders that are, I don't want to say real transgenders, that have gender dysphoria, that really, really have it and not do it because it's a fad or they were raised to not have opinions and they just focused on themselves too much. So much that it became just who they are, like creating that image and then trying to associate with it instead of watching the image and see what you can do with it. Man, women, I don't know what to say because it's quite, there's quite a difference. Interesting. So strong, so deep, moving. So far. It's so in existence. This binary, I don't know, gift because or curse. That they are so sure. In existence. What is binary? The rest. Collecting themselves. And probably watch them, not watch them, revere them, that admire them. Bam. Yeah, the gender wars, man. They're like so out of hand because yeah, they're the most vocal, not the most vocal, but these types of personalities, they're the most vocal, even though they're quite a few minority of them that are truly diagnostic with gender dysphoria. The rest of them just don't want to associate with anything that brought them into this world, into the present, which is quite sad. Okay, we're gonna do for sure most of us. How many? 2.4. Let's see if it works. Age. Kind of an age of about people can like we are the soul of complex evolutionary events. Right? Because we are. We are the result of highly evolutionary complex evolutionary. That. Oh. It's been that this mechanism has worked. How old are mammals? Well, like, 178 million years ago, just the mammals. It's worked way more million at least. That's just pointing to the fact when they were mammals and there was already a male mammal, a female mammal, right? But of course they were male dinosaurs, female dinosaurs, but it's actually how when did male and female evolve? Oh, 2.5 billion years ago they starting to emerge. The first sexual being to emerge perhaps 2.5 billion years ago. the first, okay, let's see. Can I see? According to the scientists, the very first organism to dare to engage in sex were more like Adam and Steve than Adam and Eve. Yeah, kind of like that. That's because sex was invented before heterosexuality, before males or females. Yeah, because they were just multiplying. They were learning how to multiply. They weren't male or female. The first sexual beings to emerge perhaps 2.5 billion years ago, or what biologists call isogamos, which is a little like being gay, except everyone is somewhere between male and female. Many organisms include some fungi, algae, and single-celled pond swimmers still practice isogamy. In doing so, they offer clues to the mystery of why and how sex has ever evolved. Well, you do need to create something, so to understand life, you need an produce a smaller sex so than their female counterparts. Okay, is this telling me about what scientists find puzzling is that most of them still use a system of two sexes. Wait. To understand life before the advent of males and females, you need a universal definition of which males produce a smaller sex cell, sperm or pollen, than their female counterparts. Isogamous algae, which is actually more of a weed than it's a. Let me just see, because it sounds like an algae. I'm not sure what it is. It's mostly a cell. Okay. It looks like a cell and it don't look so small. Not even gonna show. Okay, let me just. Okay, but virtually all animal species are small. Things. Science. What scientific? Okay. On the other hand, still has sex, but instead of mixing sperm and eggs, they mingle sex cells of roughly the same size, generically known as gametes. What scientists find puzzling is that most of them still use a system of two sexes, in their case plus and minus rather than male and female. Though plus and minus create the equal sized sex cells, plus mates only with minus and minus with plus. Okay, so that's still the same thing. Oh la 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 la. B. Such pickiness is an enormous paradox, says Lawrence Hurst, a biology at the University of Bath in England. Without sexes, you wouldn't have to limit your choice of a mate to half the population. Anyone would be a fair game. Yes, but the reason it's not to be a fair game, is it? The reason is to produce something that would produce further. Something, but at least with the knowledge of what you already have. Some organisms do expand their sexual options by having many sexes. 100 for some pond swimming protozoans. Mushrooms use 30,000 and can mate with any but their own. Okay. Oddly, however, most sexual beings have just two sexes. Whoa! The loneliest number when it comes to finding a mate. Why restrict our options? Well, because we trying to do some science, some magic. We're trying to create something, not just doing sex just for doing sex. At least there are reasons why people do sex. You might as well just not do any, like me. Oh yeah, single life not very good. It's good, but sometimes it gets you when you're reading about. One leading theory goes back to the bizarre nature of certain machinery we all carry around ourselves. Little engines known as mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell that help convert food to energy. It's become clear in recent years that mitochondria are no mere building features but a sort of friendly, parasitic bacteria living with us in a symbiotic relationship. They propagate as our cells divide, and in animals pass from mothers to offspring through eggs. Okay. They have no bite. And while they seem to be working for us, they have no binding contract to continue to do so. Because they carry their own DNA, they can mutate, the scientists say, so you could, in theory, get a new strain of mitochondria that's very good at replicating, but not very good for you. Okay. The new unfriendly mitochondria will start to spread to the human population at our expense. One way to prevent such a spread is to avoid mixing mitochondria when you have sex. Well, that's not a big problem for us, since males simply shed most of their mitochondria when they make sperm. Oh, that's nice. That way you only get them from your mother. Okay, so... Okay, I kind of understand that. But if you're isogamous, you're exchanging this same-sized gametes instead of sperm and eggs. So to keep mitochondria in check, many organisms kill the ones from their mates. Okay, it's a little like using a condom. Killers only mate with non-killers and you end up with two mating types. For some, the situation set the stage for the great seismic shift when living things began to emerge, male and female, thus ushering in everything from the age of chivalry to divorce court. But that's another story. Alright, so it's actually a symbiotic relationship to have one male and one female, because you can always, if you change like this, if you change this style of being, you might be left by mitochondria or something like that. You might be attacked, and we don't want that. Not now, at least. Alright. Years. You only reason is still vital part of our life. Our life is because it worked. And this mechanism has worked this way for at least. This mechanism has worked this way Percent. That's right. It's messy. Sure not to. No. Still more. Indeed. It's there. Yes. Oh, this is a difficult one. And it's 12 o'clock and I go to sleep. Yeah, I thought I would more. I didn't expect to get into this, and I don't know exactly. Tools word count. Okay, I've written 300. Well, kind of wrote them. Word count 300. Yeah, but we've written 200 here. So, kind of wrote 300 words today, basically. But that's alright because we did it. We did it today. We got closer. up, up. Let's let me just go to, what's it called, camp. All right, update. What is our total word count for today? Let's put this. Tools 380 for today. I felt like ma, but I've updated. Okay. How do I earn this? Okay. Anyway, that's it for now. I don't know what's going on next, but I'm going to sleep because tomorrow is a work day. It's still hard work, and I want to be at least fresh, you know. When, when working, if not in the best shape. So, I unlocked the badge. Woohoo! Write 167 words. Anyway, that's it. I hope you had a very productive time, or you just spent your time listening to this old babbling fool here. I do hope you are writing, you're keeping on your goal, walking with God, being productive, and kicking life's troubles away from you. Okay, that's something bad. I wanted to say life's ass, but if you kick life's ass, life will kick your ass too. You know it. Eventually, it will kick your ass until you die. So, yeah, be friend with life. And have a great evening. Bye.